Jo.
Já včera jsem poslouchal livestream a
už jsem live. Good morning, guys. Hello. Hi. I hope you're doing well. I'm really excited that you're joining this flexibility class. It will be something new. Something new to me as well. I usually don't teach purely flexibility. I actually never taught a flexibility class without the yoga part, but it's a passion of mine. I love working with my body and kind of learning how to work with it, how to make it more stronger, how to make it more flexible. And these exercises that I'm going to share with you today are things that I do for myself. Some of them I implement to my yoga classes, but many of them are just for myself, and I think it's interesting and it's going to be fun to share it with you and kind of see how you're going to react, how you like it, how it works for you. To give you a little introduction to flexibility. Flexibility, despite being a property of your muscles, it's not controlled in your muscles, it's controlled by your nervous system. And it's really important to remember, because as we're working on flexibility, we are not actually elongating the muscles. We are not, stretching them long or pulling them long. But what we're doing, we're learning how to kind of access and unlock our muscles' ability to soften, to kind of become more loose while being still controlled. So what happens when we stretch? When you stretch, imagine your muscle fibers being something like this. Yeah, they're close together, tight. And when you bring your body to a range of motion that it doesn't visit that often, it's going to react. Yeah, it's going to be something new for you. And it's going to react by contracting the muscles, by not allowing them to loosen, to let go, to stretch. So that's why when we try to stretch, try to do a split or something for the first time or the first couple of times or the first 1,000 times, it's difficult because you're exploring a new range of motion. Your body doesn't know what's going to happen when you put it in there. And that's why, because your body is smart and it's cautious. So it tells your muscles to stop, to prevent that stretch from happening. But you can work with that. The more often you're going to visit this new range of motion, the more accustomed is your body going to become. And it's going to discover that this range of motion, this new range of motion, is not that dangerous. After all, yeah, I've been there a couple of times, nothing happened. Maybe I can allow my muscles to let go a little. So how often we practice and repetition is an important part of flexibility training. What is also really important is muscle engagement. So as you're working and exploring new ranges of motion, you want to not only stretch your body, you want to, because stretching is only about, acquiring new range of motion, but mobility is acquiring this new range of motion while being able to support your body in this new range of motion, meaning you're not only going to pull your leg up, you're going to have the muscles to support your body in that range of motion. So there's an active and passive flexibility. And active flexibility means you're going to use your muscles to put your body into this new range of motion. Passive flexibility means not that the muscles will be completely relaxed. The muscles are never completely relaxed. But passive flexibility means there's going to be an external force, like your arm or your hand, or somebody else, or the gravity, or a prop, or anything that's going to put your body into that range of motion. The body is going to stay active always. And it's really, really important to remember. As I mentioned, your body doesn't want to allow your muscles to become more flexible, to protect it. And one way how to work with it is, of course, repetition, but second thing, muscle engagement and making those muscles stronger. So we're going to work on strengthening those muscles so that the body knows and realizes that I have the strength to support myself in here, in this new range of motion. So it's not that unsafe. I can allow myself to go there. And yeah, so that's a little introduction. What's also important to talk about before we begin is pain, because you're going to experience and feel some discomfort. And if you're not used to that, it can be really kind of shocking for your body and for yourself and uncomfortable, and you're not gonna wanna do it. But experiencing some discomfort, some pulling sensation, some quote-unquote pain is a very natural and common thing that's gonna happen while you stretch. As I said, when you do something often, your body is gonna take it as normal. You know, that's why when you walk and your legs go this far apart, you're barely noticing because it's so natural. But then you're trying to make your legs go wider apart, yeah, into a split, and suddenly you're gonna start noticing, aha, it hurts. So working with pain, or learning how to work with pain, is really, I would say, one of the keys to unlocking our body's flexibility. There's going to be this kind of pain that comes quite slowly. It's going to be a graduating kind of sense of discomfort, and that's something we want to work with. So your pain, or the pain you're feeling, is your body's way of communicating with you. So stay alert, stay connected with your body, and really notice what's happening. So there's the good kind of pain, and then there's the bad kind of pain we don't want to feel. And the bad kind of pain is like when you pull brakes very sharply, like your body is screaming like, oh my God, this was too intense, I don't want to be there. So, and this kind of pain usually comes on really, really quick. And it's like, it's a sharp sensation, and you maybe experienced it, I hope not, but maybe experienced it when you pulled a muscle in your neck or in your hamstrings or so on. But when you practice mindfully, when you keep your muscles strong, I'm gonna repeat this very often today, keep your muscles strong. You wanna keep your body engaged, never floppy. So if you keep your muscles engaged and strong, then you should be fine. So yeah, working with pain, being patient, repetition, communicating with your body, listening to your body, regular breath, so important. Breathe regularly, don't forget to exhale, don't forget to inhale, relaxed face as much as you can, and it's gonna make all the difference. And not having a floppy body. That's so important, because when your muscles are not engaged, you can hurt them easily. When you keep them engaged, then you're fine. So, yep. There was a little question. I think I'm gonna answer the questions later, because we're gonna just jump into the practice right now already. So what you're gonna need, you're going to need a yoga mat or something, a block or a thick book, and a pillow or something to support your joints, because we're gonna stand on the knees and it can be painful. So go ahead and grab it. I'm going to grab my water and we're gonna begin. By the way, we're going to start working on leg flexibility, and depending on how much time we have, we'll also move into our back flexibility. And also a super important thing I need to mention is that these exercises are from different teachers, so I did not come up with them. They're not my drills. They're very much inspired by Katie Breyer. So if you want to learn more about flexibility, go check out Katie Breyer Contortion. She's an amazing, amazing flexibility teacher. Also Isaac Peña and Talia Sutra. So these three teachers really helped me in accessing my body's flexibility, becoming more flexible and feeling good. So yeah, all the credits to them. And let's begin now. So we're going to start by warming up the muscles, finding engagement in our muscles. It's good to keep your body warm. So if you want to put on socks, like when I'm just working on my flexibility, I like to stay as warm as possible. You want to sit in a straight seated position. So 2 sits bones should be pressing into the floor. The spine should be elongated. We're going to point the toes. You're going to take one block and place it underneath your thigh. So above the knee, closer to your hips. Left leg is going to stay strong and engaged. Right leg is going to stay strong and engaged. And we'll just extend the knee and release. Extend and release. 8 more times. So 10 in total. 7, 6, 5. Warming up those quads. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. You can shake it out, and we're gonna just switch to another side. So same thing on your left side. Right leg super engaged, toes pointed. Left leg engaged, toes pointed. And you're going to straighten the leg and release. Straighten, release. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Release. You can place your block to a side. And we'll come on our forearms like this. Your left leg will stay bent. Your right leg completely straight, completely engaged. Don't make it floppy. And you're gonna lift up and down. So kicking up 20 times. Good. 17, 16, 15, 14. Straight leg, super engaged quad on your right leg for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bending your right knee, switching to your left side. So again, make sure your quadriceps on your left leg is engaged, toes pointed, and you're gonna kick up 20 times. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, coming back to a seated position. You can shake out your legs a little. And we're going to come onto our side. So you'll again lay down on your left forearm. You want to keep your hips in one line. Your right hand is in front of you, but your right shoulder is going a little forward. Left leg straight, right leg is going to start kicking up and down. And again, super straight, super engaged. 20 times. 15, 14, 13. The flatmate is next to me, practicing. She loves it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Switching to the other side. So we're just activating the muscles. Switching to the other side. Pointing your right toes, left toes, both legs super straight, hips in one line. Left hand forward, left shoulder a little forward. You're gonna kick. Again, 20 times. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Shaking out those legs a little. And to warm up your hamstrings, we're going to come into a tabletop position. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips, left toes curled under. And you're going to extend your right leg, keep it super straight. And with your inhale, coming into a cow tilt. So rounding your back or bending your back, chest going forward, right leg goes up. Super strong glutes and hamstrings. And as you exhale, contract your abdominals and round. Inhale to come up. Exhale to round. Inhale up. Exhale round. Inhale up. Exhale round. 5 more. And down. The leg is still straight. And down. 3. And down, contracting the abdominals when you're in a rounded position. 2. Down. 1. Holding up, straight leg for 5. 4. 3. Lift it higher. 2. And 1. Good. Release. And we're gonna switch to the other side. Right toes curled under, left leg straight. We're going to open and round. Open and round. 5 more. 4. 3. 2. 1. Holding. Straight leg for 5. It's getting hot. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Okay. For a moment, pressing into your downward facing dog. And then stepping with your right leg between your hands. Your left knee comes down to the floor. And right now you can place a pillow underneath your leg because it's like if your knees are sensitive, we're gonna spend some time on our knees. So it's good to use something underneath the knee. Okay, so now you wanna have your right knee actually a bit behind your ankle. So your ankle is tiny bit more forward. We wanna keep the hips in one line, meaning right hip is not going forward. Right hip is pulling back, left hip is pushing forward. Hips in one line, your abdominals are slightly engaged and your pelvis is in a neutral position. And with this, you're going to come into your low lunge and we're gonna hold here, stretching the psoas muscles. We're going to hold for 30 seconds. Make sure this is not happening. So you don't want to lose engagement. You don't want to relax into this pose, even if you're flexible. You want to pull everything towards the center. So from the right, from the left to the center, from the front, from the back towards the center. Holding for 5 more seconds. Good. And now your left heel, your left leg, your left foot is gonna stay flexed. Your hips are right now at a certain height. You wanna keep them there as you hug your heel in. So you're gonna hug your left heel in. Make sure your hips are not going up. Hug it in as much as you can. So again, active flexibility, stretching the front of the leg, contracting the hamstrings. Hug it in as much as you can. And then as you release, your foot back towards the floor, your hips are going to sink lower. And from here, we're going to repeat again. So the hips stay low and you hug it in as much as you can. You hug it in as much as you can. And then release and send your hips a little lower. And again, hug it in, make sure your hips are not going up. And release. 2 more, up. And release. 1, up. And release. Okay. Placing your hands back to the floor, extending that right leg. So right now we worked a lot into our left hip flexors. You're going to bring your right foot back towards the floor, remove the pillow, and step your left foot in. So it's similar to the pyramid pose in yoga. You're going to have your right foot flat on the floor, hips in one line. So you can always bring one hand to your low back, check if your low back is in one line, and then as to your hands, hopefully they're touching the floor. If not, take a block. Yeah, and place your hands on a block or 2 blocks, you know, whatever props you need. And you're going to bring your weight forward. So come to your left tippy toes, bring your weight forward, and then as you exhale, you're gonna lower your body closer towards your standing leg. And then again, bring the weight more forward. Come to your left tippy toes. With your right hand, if you're close to the floor, you're going to grab your ankle and pull yourself closer. So pulling yourself closer to your standing leg. For 5, 4, completely engaged right leg. So right quadriceps strong. 3, 2, now stretching into those hamstrings. And 1. Okay, release. You're going to step your left foot forward and your right foot back. And come into your low lunge on the other side. This can be really hardcore, but do as much as you can. And as I said, repetition makes all the difference. So maybe you're doing this for the first time now, it's gonna go better the second time. So yeah. So again, coming into your low lunge, your left ankle is a bit in front of your left knee. Your hips are in one line, belly slightly engaged, pelvis in neutral position. And you're gonna sink into your low lunge. And then we're going to hold in here for 30 seconds. And I'm gonna try to make myself less overexposed. Okay. So holding for about 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7. Don't give up. Breathe. All right. So again, remember drawing everything towards the center, from the front to the back, from the back to the front, from sides to the center. You're going to hug your right heel in, keep your hips not elevated, but where they are. And then release and maybe send your hips a little lower. And then again, you're going to engage. And send your hips a little lower. I know you're writing some comments, maybe questions, but I don't see them, they're too far. So, sorry, I'm not gonna answer now. Hug. And engage. 3 more. Hug. And engage. 2. Hug. And engage. Last one, hug and hold. And then slowly release, sending your hips lower, stretching into your right hip flexors, and then slowly extending your left leg. Whew. Placing the pillow to the side. Your left foot comes flat on the mat. You're going to step your right foot forward into your pyramid pose. Again, checking your low back, making sure it's in a neutral position, engaging your whole left leg, your whole muscular aperture on your left leg, placing your hands on the mat or on the blocks, whatever you can access, and then slowly coming onto your tippy toes on your right leg, bringing yourself closer to your standing leg. And if you can bring your left hand behind your ankle and pull closer, shift your weight even more forward, engaging your left leg completely. Yeah, so feeling stretch along the whole back side of your left leg, behind that knee, in the hamstrings, pulling closer for 5. Super strong left leg. 4. Good. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Slowly releasing, bending both knees. Good. Sitting on your heels for a moment. All right. So right now we have warmed up the muscles. We warmed up and strengthened the quads, the hamstrings. We stretched the hip flexors, very important. We stretched the hamstrings, we stretched the quads, and now we're going to put it all together and try one split. So we're actually not going to support our bodies with our hands on a block or on the floor, because we want to keep the muscles as engaged as possible, and often when we support ourselves with the hands, we let go in the muscle engagement. So starting with your right leg forward, your left toes are curled under like this. I like this positioning for my back leg, or my back foot is split, because when the heel is pointing up, it's very likely your hips are going to stay square as well, and we want to keep our hips in one line. So back toes curled under, and you're going to bring your hands to your hips. Again, make sure it's all drawing towards the center, and then you're going to sink into your low lunge with your foot a bit in front of your knee. And we're going to stay here. Actually, I need to go a bit more back on my mat. You're going to stay here with your hands on the hips. Usually, it's really good to do this exercise against the mirror. So you want to look at yourself and see if your hips are really in one line and that your right hip is not going forward. Yes, you want to draw it back, left hip forward so that they stay in one line. And as you're here, you're going to start making your way down very slowly. Yeah, by moving your front toes more forward. So coming into your splits. Coming into your splits. As to how much and how long should I hold my splits? Usually about 1 minute. You don't want to exhaust your muscles completely, yeah? So maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute at the beginning. Once you get used to it, you can maybe hold a little longer, but I wouldn't hold it way too long. So holding in your splits wherever it is, keeping your body strong, so not using your hands as a support for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Slowly coming back. Back onto your knees, into your tabletop position. Pressing into your downward facing dog for 1 moment. And then stepping your left foot forward. Right knee comes down to the floor. Back toes curled under, heel looking up the whole time. Hips looking forward. Your ankle a bit in front of your knee. Yes. And then you're going to start making your way down. You want your body to stay perpendicular to the floor. If you're leaning forward, you're putting more pressure or more stretch onto your hamstrings. If you're leaning back, which usually nobody does, unless they really love it, you're gonna put more stretch onto your hip flexors. So keeping your body in a perpendicular position towards the floor is gonna distribute the stretch in between your front leg and your back leg. Good, so holding in your splits for about 1 minute. Again, making sure both hips are looking forward, your front leg super strong, the quads are engaged. About 10 more seconds, or 15, we'll see. Make sure to breathe. Observe the pain. Yeah, so it's again your body's way of communicating with you. So listen to what's happening and try to catch yourself before you feel like snapping out of the pose. Okay, we're coming back. Good. Into a child's pose for a moment. Okay. And then returning back into your tabletop. You can sit on your heels for a moment. So now we did a very deep stretch, and what you always want to do after acquiring or exploring a new range of motion is strengthening your body in that new range of motion, so that your body has the strength to support itself, so that it knows that it's safe to be in that place. And for splits, I have a favorite strengthening exercise. You're going to need to roll your mat like this. Create a little cushion for your knee, maybe even more. Bringing your pillow in front of you. If you have socks, you can also use socks. Back toes curled under, and you're going to step your right foot forward, point your toes. So we'll come into half splits. Your hips will stay in one line. Your right leg is going to be straight, hands on your hips. And you're going to slide forward a little. Stop. And then pull back. So engaging your muscles so much so that you can find your way back by yourself. Active flexibility. Again, forward. And back. In your own pace, you can do 5 to 10 of these slides, starting small and slowly, gradually making your splits a little bigger. If you get stuck, you can help yourself with your hands, but when you get to a point where you cannot find your way back, that means your flexibility is bigger than your mobility. You're stretchy, but you don't have the strength to support your body in that stretch. Okay, I'll do 2 more. This is always hard. And 1. Okay. Okay. Coming back, second side. Left leg forward. And you're going to slide a little. Find your way back. Slide a little. Find your way back. Slide and back. 4. I'm curious how many of you are still here. Who got discouraged? Who loves it? Okay, last 2. And 1. Okay. Good. Placing your block, your bolster, your pillow to the side. Again, rolling your mat and coming into a child's pose for a moment. To relax, we're gonna have a little break. 5 breaths. So holding, relaxing. I'm gonna maybe read a question. So there was a question. If during the exercise you feel pain in your knees, you have still doing the same. So you don't want to feel pain in your knee ever. If you're feeling pain in your knee, then you need to modify the exercise. If it's the bottom knee, more cushion, playing around with the back foot. So for me, flexing, that was gross, flexing the foot stabilizes the knee. I feel more stable, less pain. I also used to have pain in my knees. For some people, pointing allows them to kind of stabilize the knee more. So point, flex, find out what works for you, more cushion for your knee. And if it's still hurting, then stepping back, don't going as deep. Okay, no questions, just positive smiles. So we're going to move to our back flexibility. And I always like to do first legs and then back. Because for back, it's not really only about the back, it's about the whole body. And by already stretching our quadriceps, our hip flexors, we're already prepared to work on the back. And we'll start by a little warm-up exercise I learned from my teacher, Isaac Pena, and I really love this exercise. And it goes like this, it's a little flow. You start in your child's pose. And from here, you're going to look forward and slide into your cobra. Shoulders back, elbows in, going up, pressing your feet into the floor. Exhale to come back to your child's pose. Inhale to sit up, draw your hands towards your thighs, pop your chest forward, maybe even look back. Exhale, back down, child's pose. Inhale, slide through cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, sit up, chest forward. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, seated. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, coming down. All right. Now we're going to bring your feet wider than your mat, and your hands will come next to your body, palms facing down. Legs will stay glued to the floor. If your pubic bone is sensitive, you might have to put something underneath your pubic bone. Otherwise, we're good to go. So you're going to press your feet down as you inhale, start lifting your chest up, turning your palms forward, thumbs up, and lifting as high as you can. Exhale to slowly come back. 5 times. And down. 4. And down. I'm really sore after yesterday, so I won't be going as high. 2. And 1. Okay. Wiggle your hips. So this exercise is really good to strengthen the muscles. Again, active flexibility, and warm up your bottom glutes. If these muscles are active, you're going to be able to access more your hip flexibility in your back bends. So activating bottom glutes, really important for back bending. From here, we're going to come into a tabletop, and we're going to do a little kicking exercise. So very similar to the one we did at the beginning, but now we're going to do it faster. I will show you from the side. So you're going to kick up, straight leg, and as you kick up, push your hands forward so that you move a little more back. So it's not this, but it's more this. Yeah, if that makes sense. You're pulling back. And we're going to do 10 of those with your right leg. So right leg super straight and kicking up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Left side, point and kicking. Oops, kicking the plant. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Coming back onto your belly, keeping your feet as wide as your yoga mat, hands next to your bottom ribs, elbows in. We're going to do some Cobra Rolls, starting with your head, starting with your eyes. You will look up, look forward first, then look up and start lifting your head, rolling the shoulders back, squeezing your elbows in, helping yourself with your hands a little, lifting, coming higher, as high as you can. And then slowly coming down. You can keep going 5 to 10 times. If you move really slow, 5 is enough. Generally, you want to move slow to feel all the muscles you have in your back. It's important not to do this. You don't want to be hanging. You want to actively compress the back muscles, active flexibility, yeah, to come into your back bend like that. And squeezing your elbows in is going to help you to stay active in this pose. So I'm gonna do 2. All right, you can just relax for a moment, look to one side, shake your hips. Look to the other side. And then look forward. Hands underneath your shoulders, coming into a kneeling position. All right. By the way, after doing these exercises, when your head is releasing back, it's good to strengthen the front of your throat by doing a little double chin, by pulling back. So if you feel like you have worked too much in your neck, strengthen the deep throat flexors, I think is the name. Hugging your chin in, doing a little double chin. And we're going to move from here towards a wall. So I'm going to... Oh, so there's a little question. I'm going to come to them later, or if I have time. But there was a question. I'm just confused because I learned to do Cobra with big toes together. So in yoga, depending on the tradition you're following, it's very likely that you learned like 1,000 ways how to do the Cobra pose. Now, at the point of this, when your legs are more apart and your feet are spread wider, it's easier to access your bottom glute flexibility, so underneath your butt or in the bottom of your butt. And when you engage that, you can stretch more into the front of your hips. So that's the point right now. But if you're following a yoga teacher that does it with their toes together, then in their class they did like that. So coming towards a wall. We're going to do a couple shoulder opening exercises. So some shoulder openers. It's really important to stretch also our shoulders. And for that, I've been doing this exercise, this particular drill for like 4 years or 5 years. I learned it from Talia Sutra, my favorite yoga teacher. It's amazing. So touching the wall with your hands, your feet are hip width apart. You're going to pull your hips back, and as you're pulling your hips back, you want to start walking your hands forward. Yeah, so hips back, hands forward. From here, reaching with your chest towards the wall, looking at the wall. And because we don't have too much time anymore, I will do a backbending special at one point. But for now, we're gonna do it a little faster, so you can stay here. Or if you have the flexibility, you can look up and bring your chest towards the wall. And if you want to go deeper, yeah, if you have the flexibility and this is not enough and you want to stretch deeper, then you're going to bend your knees, slide down a little. Keep your hands where they are, extend the legs. So staying there for 5 more breaths, wherever you are. All right. Slowly coming back. So you can do this 3 times, yeah, and slowly learn how to go deeper, how to maybe look up. And it's going to be maybe a slow journey for some of you, and that's totally fine. Just make sure your hands, your arms are shoulder width apart. You're not in a position like this, trying to keep your elbows straight, hands flat, and slowly working into opening your upper body. The last exercise we're going to do is with a block. So there are 3 options how to do this. Option number 1 with a block, and it's perfect for those who have just started working on backbends and who want to build up strength, and those who want to become comfortable with going back like this, maybe for a drop back. So beginner's version, you're going to take a block and place your block underneath your shoulders. So below your shoulders, your feet are about 20 centimeters away from the wall, your butt is glued to the wall. And you're going to lift your arms up straight, shoulder width apart, and then try to touch the wall behind you. And touch. And touch. For some, this will be enough. For some, this will be super easy. So if this is enough for you, go ahead and do it. If you want to try a more advanced variation, you step your feet a tiny bit more forward, your butt is glued to the wall, you will extend your arms forward, reach your chest forward, 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 as if you want to go over a bridge, so reaching forward and then behind you and back, forward and behind you and back. And if you do it properly, you're gonna feel a real engagement in your back muscles, and that's what we want. That's how you build the strength for going back in a standing back bend, for instance. Third variation, by the way, the most advanced. Feet away from the wall, butt away from the wall, so the butt is not leaning. Same thing as before, but reaching back, chest reaching forward, and trying to touch and return. Touch and return. So you can go about 5 times. All right. One last. Good. It's very speedy, but we're just checking out the exercises, and I'm gonna upload this to YouTube so we can try it again. And there's gonna be more backbending classes. But now we're going to put together. I'm gonna read the questions later. We're going to put it together, and we're going to try a backbend in a low lunge position. Yes, I'm gonna save the video. So we're going to do our low lunge that we practiced in the splits section. Everything drawing towards the center. If the legs are not strong, the back won't be able to work as we want it to work. So strong, solid legs. And we're going to apply the back bend we just did with the wall. So it doesn't matter if you're working with the block or without the block. You're going to, I really like to cross my thumbs like this. You're going to send your chest forward, up, and reach back, as if you wanted to touch a wall. And then you can return. And you can try this 3 times, or you can just hold whenever you go back. So reaching the chest forward, arms up, straight elbows, the whole body super strong. Holding for 3 breaths, or going 3 times. 2. And the other side. So super strong base. Arms reaching forward, chest forward, arms up and back. Holding for 5 breaths or trying 5 times. And of course, when you come up, your head comes a blast. Slowly finishing this round. And because we need to finish early, this is going to be our last exercise. This video is going to be online for the next 24 hours and then also on YouTube. So you can replay it, try it again, take more time for the exercises. I usually take more time than this. What is really important to do after backbends is conditioning, strengthening the core. So we're going to do a little core exercise to finish with our backbends. Extending your legs up. Arms next to your body, palms down. You're going to lower your legs down. Your belly is in, lower back glued to the floor and back up, down, and up, down, and up. 2 more. And up. Flex your feet, hands behind your head. You're going to do little crunches. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, and then release your head down and send your legs behind you into a little plow. Keeping your hands on your lower back, the weight on your shoulders, legs strong and active. So a little counter pose to our back bends. And then releasing your hands back down to the floor, hands flat. You're going to lower yourself down, vertebra by vertebra, super slow. Super slow, keeping your legs as close to your torso as you can. As slow as you can. Good. And then coming into a seated position. So this was a quick end. You can do a forward fold, you can do a twist, you can do more core work to counterbalance your back bends. I have 1 more minute and I will try to find some questions and read them. Oh, somebody from Laos, that's exciting. Okay, some creepy feet person. Yeah, this is hard. I know this is not easy. Beginner versions, I have some backbending videos on my IGTV. I have some backbending videos on my YouTube, and they're definitely more beginner friendly than this one. This was just the flexibility training, and those are hardcore. Pain in the lower back. Okay, pain in the lower back, just like any pain, is normal. It's a way of your body communicating with you. Don't ignore it, be mindful, but don't be scared. Yeah, it's something new. Your back will get accustomed to it, but make sure to move very, very slow. Thank you so much